What is up, guys? It's Arodiad here. Welcome to our Pokemon Showdown series episode 13, and in today's video, I have a random battle for you guys, so without further ado, why don't we just hop straight into this battle. So, because it is a random battle, I don't know what I'm going to get. I'll lead off with my Heracross, he leads off with this Whimsicott. I decided to switch out because I am predicting the Will-O-Wisp, and I don't want to get burned on my Heracross, so I decided to switch out and go into my Zapdos, which is a special attacker. So he goes into his Giratina Origin, and I decided to Toxic it just to get some damage off of it, because this thing is bulky. He goes to the Draco Meteor and misses, so I'm like, you know what, I might as well stay in here and substitute, hoping for the Draco Meteor miss. So he goes for the Draco Meteor, hits my substitute, but he gets a special attack drop. So now I'm predicting the switch, because he is Toxic, special attack is down. So I decided to go for the substitute again, as he switches out into his Throw. So this Throw is a major problem throughout the battle, but I go for the substitute. I don't have any flying moves in this Zapdos, so I can do anything. So I decided to Toxic it, just to get some damage off. He goes for the Ice Punch, so I'm like, well, he's going to go for the Ice Punch again. I can't kill it in one hit, so who do I want to take the Ice Punch? So he decides to switch out, and I go into my Swalot, the beast himself, Swalot. He goes with the Ice Punch, takes 25% of my health away. Doesn't matter, because my Black Sludge will heal me. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to Encore him into Ice Punch, for the simple reason that Ice Punch doesn't do much to me. So I'm going to go there. He's going to rack up the Toxic, so he's not going to, I'm going to pretty much survive more than he is. Like, I'm going to survive longer than he is. So I decided to go for the Stockpile, just so I can get some nice physical defenses going. As he goes for the Ice Punch, Toxic really building up at this point. He decides to switch out and go into his Arceus Dragon. And I go for the Stockpile, and yes, I know I said it Dragon. That's the way I say it, not Dragon. But I go for the Stockpile again and get Typhoon defenses. He goes to the Earthquake, super effective, does nothing to me from an Arceus. I go for the Yawn, just because I want to lure this thing out or just put it to sleep in general. He decides to switch out and go into his Throw again. I decide to go for the Stockpile, and I'm at max Stockpile range. I'm at 3 Stockpiles, which is the max. So I get some Black Sludge, and I'm like, well, now that I'm fully healed, I can't, well, not healed, but defense, I can't do anything to this guy. Turns out, this Throw has the rest, and it is just going to annoy me throughout the whole battle. So I'm like, I am 3 Stockpile, but I have no moves on this guy, but I am going to Encore him into rest, because I can outspeed for some reason, and Encore, and he's going to be stuck in there. So he decides to switch out into his nice little Furfro, as I go for the Yawn. So now this Furfro is pretty much going to risk staying to sleep or switch out. He goes for the T-Wave on my Swalot, which is really unfortunate, and as I go for the Earthquake. So this Swalot cannot do anything. I wanted to keep him in because of his defenses, but I'm like, you know what? He can't do anything. So he goes into his Throw as I switch out and lose my +3 and go into my Malamar. So I thought I could outspeed this guy. So I have the Superpower, which I do, and get attack and defense up. I don't go for the Psycho Cut because I thought that he didn't have the Circle Throw, but he does. I go into the Heracross, do not want to stay in, so I go back into the Swalot knowing he can't do anything to me. He goes for the Ice Punch, does absolutely nothing. I am paralyzed, but does nothing. So I do go for the Yawn. For some reason, outspeed still. And I think the Circle Throw have like negative priority or something, but I go for the Yawn, forgetting his Furfro is asleep. So he is stuck at Drowsy no matter what. So I'm switching to Malamar, thinking like, wait, what the hell? Sleep, yes, Sleep Cause mod activated because I did forget. He goes for the Storm Throws. I go for the Superpower, thinking that I was able to outspeed, but I don't, because apparently it's a speed tile or something like that. I have no idea, but pretty much I should have gone for the Psych Cut there. I did not. I was trying to get greedy and go for a sweep, but it didn't work out. And yeah, I pretty much wasted it. So I go into my Zapdos trying to lure the Ice Punch for some reason. And yeah, I go back into my Swalot. Swalot can eat hits for days, okay? Swalot is a beast. He uses the Ice Punch again, and I'm going to go for the Encore. I love it still says Drowsy. So here, I go get some Black Sludge recovery, and I decide to switch out, and I go into my Octillery, a Pokemon we haven't seen yet. He uses the Ice Punch. Octillery is pretty much the only Pokemon that I have that can take an Ice move well, because my last Pokemon is a Glaceon, but I don't know I'm taking a fighting move. He switches out into his Carnivine as I go for the Surf or Hydro Pump. It was Hydro Pump, that's it. I switch out predicting the Power Whip or something like that. So he goes for the Power Whip. My Zapdos doesn't take it well at all, but I am able to take another one, but I still don't like the damage it did. So I decided to go for the Roost just to heal up, as this Carnivine goes for the Sludge Bomb, gets a critical hit, but doesn't do that much considering. So I get some leftover recovery, the Carnivine gets some leftover, and I go for the Toxic, just to get some damage on this thing, as he goes for the Leech Seed. So I'm like, well, I'm Leech Seeded, he's Toxic, pretty much trading over. But he won't be able to kill me this next turn, even with the Leech Seed. So I decided to go for the Roost, as he goes for the Sludge Bomb again. So knowing that the Leech Seed is going to keep taking me down, this is pretty much a battle that cannot be won, really. So I decided to switch out in this turn and go into my Swalot pretty much as death fodder. He goes with a Sludge Bomb, and I tank it. And this Swalot is holding on for dear life. It does not want to go home. So I am paralyzed, but I do get some Black Sludge. His Toxic is going on. He goes with a Power Whip, and he misses. And I go for the Encore and Encore him into Power Whip. So I'm like, you know what? This is pretty good. Swalot is doing his job, and I like it. So I decided to switch out, save this thing for death fodder later, go into a Heracross, knowing that he resists the Power Whip, and I can hopefully get some damage off on this thing, or do whatever I want to do with this Heracross. So Heracross is here. He switches out and goes into his Giratina. I decide to Mega Evolve and go for the Pin Missile because I do have Skill Link and it would have been super effective on the Carnivine. Too bad he switches into Giratina Origin and it does absolutely nothing. And now I will not be able to outspeed because I did Mega Evolve. I don't think I outsped before, but I decided to switch out and go into my Swalot as Death Fodder. He goes with the Hidden Power and the Swalot's hanging on. It does not want to die. But this Giratina Origin is toxic. He goes with the Draco Meteor and it finally takes out my Swalot. My Swalot finally dead. You did well, Swalot. You did well. You did your job perfectly. I go into my Artillery, thinking that I could outspeed, but I cannot. He goes for the Draco Meteor, and it critical hits and takes me to 5% health. I go for the Ice Beam and take out this Giratina. I thought I could outspeed, but I'm an idiot for some reason. Or I thought I could just take it well. He goes with the Extreme Speed on his Arceus and takes out my Artillery. So I'm like, oh, it's 3 to 5. I'm pretty much going to get swept. I go into my Glaceon as he goes for the Earthquake, and I'm like, why would you stay in? You're a Dragon type now. Ice Beam, dead, critical hit. So I'm just like, pretty much Glaceon is now God, like Jumpluff was in my previous video where it killed 5 of the 6 members' teams. If you saw that video, it was a great video, well, great battle anyway. But I'm starting to switch out as he goes for the Storm Throw and gets paralyzed, which does suck completely because I was planning to Toxic this thing. So you know what, I'm just going to substitute, see what's going on, hope for a paralysis, and he does get paralyzed. So I'm like, that is actually quite good because now I can go for a T-Bolt, hopefully get some damage off of it. I know I should have gone for a Roost, but he does go for a Rest. That is the simple reason why I went for the T-Bolt, and I cannot Encore him now because my Swalot is dead. He decides to switch out, but he is he's not asleep, is he? Yeah, he is asleep because you can put yourself to sleep in this. Sleep mod only activates if you try to put your opponent to sleep. You can still put yourself to sleep. So I decided to Roost, get some health back, go for the T-Bolt, and this Furfrou is pretty much still asleep. So he's asleep again, and I'm like, this is good. T-Bolt, I want to go in with a full sub. So there we go, Leftovers is happening. He's asleep for the 3rd turn, and his well, my Zapdos takes down his Furfrou, and I'm like, Zapdos, you were doing well. Swalot is MVP, but you're catching up there. So he goes into his Whimsicott and encores me for some reason into Thunderbolt. I don't know why. Probably because he resists it, but I do get the paralysis, and I'm like, wow, I'm hacking him at this point. But he goes into his throw. It is asleep. I go for the T-Bolt. This throw is annoying the crud out of me. I keep going for the Thunderbolt, pretty much spamming it. He is asleep. My Encore ends. Doesn't really matter. I'm not going to swap. I'm going to go for the T-Bolt. Take out this, take out a bit of his health from the throw. He is asleep, and I go for the T-Bolt again, and he lets his throw die, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting so lucky at this present time. And after episode 11, I think I deserved it, but he goes with a Taunt. I go for the T-Bolt. I'm not stopping T-Bolt. I don't know what he's thinking. This Carnivine isn't looking too hot with his Toxic and health, so I'm just going to keep going for T-Bolt. I know it resists, but it should do a clean amount of damage to it. He gets some Leftovers and Toxic damage. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm pretty much going to T-Bolt his whole team, and that is going to be the end of the battle because this Whimsicott is going to die. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, favorite, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really helps me out. Follow my Twitter if you haven't. Link will be in the description below. If you have any Pokemon that you'd like to recommend, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I always read the comment section. I always respond to every single comment, so don't be afraid to let your opinion known on what Pokemon you want me to use. And yeah, don't have much else to say. This has been Arodiad. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.